So we back here again. It's telling me we. So we back here again at the Higher Artist Studios for the first episode of KDL Talk. And for this little series, we got a new face. We got Shantae on the camera. And we're going to be sharing our perspective on some volatile musical issues. And the first topic that we're going to be looking at is essentially why musicians are so expensive. So stay tuned. So I'm pretty sure every musician went through a phase where when they're sending in quotation for a gig, people won't beat down the price or know why you're charging so much.
Some people
What
don't
is
have
that
an
really?
accent.
Huh?
Some people don't have an accent.
At all. You said you
They
can
don't
send
even
that
have
invoice
one.
there and nothing.
Nothing.
And to me, I think the biggest problem is because a lot of people don't really see like what musicians do are creative forms of expression in general as like careers. Then it's more so just see it as a little hobby of sorts.
Yeah, because it's almost like they don't respect it. Like an accountant or a doctor, like, we out here saving lives and stopping people from spending stupid money. But for the time it ain't getting to do with the creative industry, it be like you are in your mind probably think that you got a job already and this is just saying on the side.
Are you doing it for fun?
That you do, yeah, doing
So
for
we
fun.
could just play for a little exposure, a bottle of water, 2 sandwiches.
Some of these people, these things you don't want to be in the water neither.
Furthermore, a nice God will bless you. But the harsh reality is, obviously we go to the gas station, we go to the supermarket, no amount of exposure can pay for groceries. I mean, it can't put gas in the car that we need to get to the gig for starters. So
Somebody in the gas station know me behind the counter. You think that because you know me, I could get things for free? The girl that Shanti, you good? Yeah, I good. I go out from here. I go along with 4 bananas. That's right. And a biscuit.
And I think it's come from a lack of understanding too, because I don't really think a lot of people understand like what it really takes to get to a certain level of competency in terms of being a musician. Because let me say, I was playing for I started playing like 10 years ago. Like the whole thing started
More than 10 years ago. I started more than 10 years ago.
Alright, so we got 10 years and then we got sometime more than 10 years ago. And the harsh reality is like some people might play their whole life and they might not even reach a stage where they're actually competent enough to be a professional musician.
Correct.
So it's like when you hire a musician for a gig, you're not paying them for the hour that they're playing. Furthermore, even if they're just playing one song, because all of them years it took for them to get to that stage to be able to play that song. For example, let me say you got a surgeon, and let me say this surgeon operating and this operation can take about an hour, and you receive a bill that got at least 5 zeros on it. I'm pretty sure nobody not going to that operating room and saying what it is.
Yeah, they don't contest the price for the doctor.
Exactly,
Right,
because
doctor say when
essentially
they get
them sort of careers does it seem as like real
Yeah.
and not like hobbies.
Yeah. This real too. No? When I think that my mother showed not me to practice with Mark. That ain't Mark. Nah. The same thing I was thinking too, like sometimes I don't do photography, but the photographers, their services are on the back end. So they come and take their pictures and then they have to go and edit it or do their record their videos and stuff. And then they go sit down for hours on end to record the footage.
And then sometimes when they send it, the person want revisions.
You ain't want the sound them pig.
And the biggest nightmare I know for a videographer is that them edit a video and then the person decide to tell them they want a different song. Because changing that song mean that you editing and creating a brand new video from scratch.
Right. For musicians, no, the services are on the front end. When we come to the event, you're experiencing the service up front. However, we don't know every single song in the world. And when y'all request songs, we have to go and learn, especially if we don't know them. I think we ain't know enough, but you know, you want to leave space for special requests, and let me say you gotta practice. The more people you add to perform, the more rehearsals you gotta have. You gotta hold and pray that one rehearsal can do it. Sometimes it never does. That's time.
And even you talk again, compensate for rehearsals too.
When I tell the people the breakdown, the customers be looking at me like rehearsals, I say, so when I think that I just come here, open the violin and start playing and I just know things, girl. And if I go and hire a keyboardist now, you thought we just wake up one morning after, yeah, we got this dash. Nah, it can't work for.
Because even on that whole front end talk, I think that we got a whole set of back end work too. Because if you check it, when people come to a show and then see the musicians performing, yeah, you see me playing there. But then you had to take account. We had to do rehearsals for this. And then outside the rehearsals, how much personal practice you had to put in learning
God
the material.
forbid that the music when they're playing on paper and arrangements have to be made and changes to the arrangements have to be made Somebody got to sit down and rearrange the music. Somebody, it when they want to pay for the music. The paper costs money. The ink costs money. The electricity
Everything
for
costs
plugging the
money.
printer costs money. We ain't get to actually play the music yet, you know.
At all.
So,
And that's something I really think like people don't really grasp or understand. Like a couple months, well, it was not a couple months. It was like a year or two ago. I actually sit down and work out if like the pay I was getting from certain gigs is worth it. Because let me say for example now, somebody paying you $500 for this gig, playing an hour. But let me say, although this gig is technically just an hour, you gotta come to a sound check the day before. And we all know how sound checks is run. You might
I
get
might
there.
want days pay for that day.
You might get there when the sun up and when the sun down.
I leave. Brother,
You
I'm trying not. I leave.
You know packing up. So let me say, you might think you're making $500 an hour, but then when you actually break it down and realize, yeah, I come into a cheese zone, man. What the hell?
You, I would hit you without that, man.
So like that 1 hour gig that paying you $500, you know how adding the amount of hours you spending at sound check, the amount of hours that you spending in rehearsals, and then we also have to calculate is how much time you spending actually learning that music on your own. Because if you got, let me say, 20, 30 songs to learn, and you spend about 5 hours at home practicing them songs, essentially that 1 hour gig that you think you got is
That's
not
where you're
really.
going to ask the people what is required at the very beginning. Do you need how much rehearsals do you think you need? If they said 2, add 3. When you build. If they said I got a sound check, the sound check starting at 2, just know that when you get that 2, the people ain't gonna be ready. You're gonna be waiting another hour, hour and a half, add that into your total. When the man say the show starting at 5, I promise you it's starting at 6 o'clock.
I would say that I would say like I actually had a couple sound checks that actually wasn't that bad. I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Look
like,
at you.
Like the first time I actually didn't even know to react is like everybody had these time slots and everybody was literally in and out in half
That's
an hour
crazy,
time
man. They
slots.
got me stick out like fish. That's crazy.
What I would say is like I can actually count the sound checks I had. I was like really good in terms of time and everything like on one hand.
0. 0.
Right, and as I was saying, like, well, like when you're looking at them gigs and thing in terms of how much you're getting paid for like the gig itself, after I make my calculations in terms of time, in terms of personal practice, rehearsal, time spent at sound check, sometimes when I run my calculations, I was like, wait a minute, you actually working like for minimum wage
That's what I'm saying.
or
You
less?
know about to be working for minimum wage. I can stand home. I will stand home.
So I'm like, look, yeah, this is $500. It's just an hour.
I'll
But
take
then,
$500. That you ain't gonna talk about how long you gotta wait for $500 to you. You gonna wait long for that little money. Oh gosh.
so also some of these is like, I also like the like unpleasant reality sometimes like as experienced in a musical field. Another thing that I think people don't realize is like the amount of like financial investment that's going to this.
That
Because
little
like,
$500 can't do nothing
because
much here.
look at it, it's time. Because a lot of people don't really like put money for their time, but essentially time is one of the most valuable things. So it's like the amount of time you have put in to get good at your craft, to be able to be a musician for starters, and then playing keyboard. I can't just say, you know what, let me just turn up at this gig. Yes, I have some shows that have got keyboards, or you could send in a rider where you don't have what, but essentially you still have to purchase your own equipments.
Correct.
So to date, right, if I was to put it was to put like a total cost for the amount of money spent in equipment and instruments, why people will know if I'm crazy. For example, let me say as a keyboardist, on average, let me say for a decent keyboard, you can end up spending between, let me say, you probably if you could get some white brand in for you, or if you have butt here, you'll probably spend between, let me say, three and $5,000. You might go up to 6, 7, maybe depending on what you're getting. Like,
Kind of this type of instrument that you want.
Yeah.
Because if the 3,000 might be on the lower end of the quality scale, but if you want different quality, you gotta fork with the money for it.
it was like what you say is like average cost for a violin.
Well, student violins don't be that expensive. Well, I don't know what's that expensive because some student violins would be like $700, and it don't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter the size of the violin; it matters the make of the violin. Because I could get a 16, which is like a violin like this tall for little babies, this tall, and the man will look at me and tell me $500 for what? Can I eat this? Cannot, cannot. My violin, I have 3 violins, and they're all mine. I own all of my violins. I don't write anymore. And the last violin I bought was, I want to say, about $2,000 2.5, somewhere in that range. I didn't make it to 3,000. Remember me first stop. Remember last time I stopped, but about $2,500 in max with the last violin that I bought. And that does not include the strings that come from the violin. Terrible. Got one love for strings. You gotta buy them. You take these nice stick that was saving violin, no case. Case is another $300, sometimes 4 or 5, depends. Strings is coming inside of 4. Depending on the brand of strings could start at $80 US.
All right.
And just because they buy the strings, that don't mean that they
So,
get popped.
so that strings are on $80 US. That's 100.
And you gotta change them. You're supposed to change them every 6 to 8 months.
Just for the strings.
Just to keep because the strings are made of metal. We live in Barbados, it's hot, so as the temperature increases and they start to stretch a little bit and the tone just change. So you try to change them every 6 months. When you want to give me the $500 in 6 months after the gig, what you do? What you do?
And the thing on that is not only purchasing the equipment, is maintenance costs. So for example, a couple months ago, my guy Nick Jr. hit me up to put down some bass on the track. So I was like, all right, cool. I set up my interface and everything ready to track from home.
You heard what he said? He said that he interface. Heat on.
And I said, all right, plug in my bass and I realized, wait, my boy, you're not hearing nothing. The preamp in my bass guitar, he said, you know, you ain't hearing nothing today. And essentially to replace that, yes, I had cheaper preamps and stuff. The preamp that I bought to put back in to replace that cost me $700. And like that was that was enough, and I was planning on spending in the moment. Huh?
You put on yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fix my violins. I'm sorry. I'd be too scared to touch mine.
If it's
I
like too technical, like outside of my reach,
that's why she the lady.
I would consult somebody that really know what I'm doing. But if it's something I can handle,
she don't be free. She don't be free. She let me think at me. She don't be free.
So like, that's another example. There is like I just sit down to record a track, and then the case there, my instrument decide, you know what, not working today. So if I get a call for a gig, I am in a position where it's either I have gonna buy a new instrument, I have gonna rent an instrument for the time being until I get mine replaced. And it's like on top of that, I still have to spend the money to to repair, so I could get going and work again. Because like, let me say for example, let me say you're traditional, let me say corporate or office job. Let me say when you graduate and you're gonna work in the field, is like, let me say you're working as a teller. You know how like spend money on like
one of the
equipment.
Come school, come work, sorry, with one of lunch bag.
Yeah, come like, buy your work clothes, your lunch bag. Yeah, it's like as a musician.
I'm one of them. Don't
For example, let me say even a singer. A singer going to cut a solo gig. Them I got them on microphone and then I got some sort of sound system. And on average, right, let me say you want just a simple like powered speaker and a mixer. Right. Let me say you want a decent, let me say powered speaker in terms of quality. You're looking at north for like $1,500.
Yeah.
Unless you could get, let me say maybe like a Gemini or something that might be selling from like cost you less or one of them stores. Like, they could get the job done. They might be in a price range of, let me say, between $600 to $800. But let me say you want a power speaker like a JBL, a EV, something like that. You're literally spending about $1,500 on that speaker alone. And if you're renting one of those,
we gotta pay people when we take the instruments or the equipment out there, you know, so
on delivery.
Correct.
So like, even before you get paid for your gig, you're spending.
We gotta spend money. So when we don't want to pay me, about to pay me 5 months after you fat, you know. We owe the money and you gotta drive to the place because you don't teleport.
But I would say though, like, honestly, yeah, I was experienced some gigs where it's how wait long for the money. But I would also say too, it's where some people, boys, like sometimes even before I get on the stage, sometimes I just got the money from even rehearsal.
Me too.
So I would say like although like it's how wait long with some people, I would say like it's still kind of balanced. So because I would say like a lot of people that
I want them to be everybody.
I work with, no, I would say like I think I did understand like and like actually appreciate the craft. So it's like although it might not be what they do, they actually understand what it takes to put in.
And sometimes I think it's because they're close to somebody that does it already. Oh, geez, that English sounds so terrible. Somebody that does it, that do it already. Professionally, they know.
You can straight that from the record.
I thank you. Because they know somebody. Really, nah, dog. Because they're close to somebody. They ain't gonna be like firing on him, but they know somebody probably that they grew up with. They know somebody that do it professionally already. They try to make the conscious effort. Cause I could tell when people don't play instruments, but they understand what's going on. That may be the easiest people to work with. The ones that don't know what's going on, they've got the world of things that they want to do. And I'm like, I can do 2 out of 20 things that you want me to do for the price that you want me to. You want to pay me.
Like that understanding, because I was still like, I had some conversations like with people on this same issue because they didn't really understand what it is a musician want to charge money if they just come in and play for one song. But realistically, well, this is
Let me tell
one
you what I'm
song
saying.
business. Let me think with this. Let me
I
say,
left
for
my host to play no
example,
one song.
I left me to play one song. Again,
The
enough
first
money
one
for
ever
it.
made right. I left me to play no one song.
Because check this, right? The best analogy I could give is, let me say, for example, you land a decent paying job. Let me say a job paying $50 an hour, a nice office job. You might say, like, that $50 an hour, cool, but let me say, no. The basis of that $50 is that you are working 1 hour a day. It's like, you're not gonna make as good as $50 an hour might sound for a 40-hour work week. If you're working 1 hour a day, it don't really that $50 an hour not really translating now. So it's the same thing. It's like, although you may be playing one song, you still have to walk with the same amount of equipment.
That's what you
travel the
say. You
same
gonna left for the
distance.
one song, depending on the
I
place.
get left for the
ain't know-
one song if I
ain't
get
know-
paid. You know?
I ain't know if I would want left for the one song. That's just me. I don't really
So,
feel.
so you telling me if somebody, like, let me say, meeting your quota or price for one song, you're not laughing?
Well, I might double it. I kidding. I ain't gonna double it.
If I get it played,
But if I
for
get
that one
maybe,
song,
it depends. It depends. It also depends on where it is and what type of event it is. Because sometimes I feel like I turn up to certain events and I realize this does not suit me. It does not suit me as a person and probably as a musician, and the type of music that they thought that they wanted. I don't think I could do that for them, and I feel so bad taking money, but I can take it because I turn up. I can take it because I turn up.
that's the next interesting point there, because I would say recently too, I would say starting to become a little bit more selective, like the
Right.
gigs and stuff.
Because
I
you
agree.
can't do everything, and all money is not good money.
Yeah. Because sometimes
Especially-
it's I would say, like within the last, I would say probably 6 months or so, I would say, like, I had to let certain things just sort of
Right.
pass by.
And a good example of that is people that only do gospel. In my mind, I think that that's where they're comfortable with at, and that's what they are most comfortable and confident doing. So that's all that them can do. I don't mind when people only do them kind of things. And at first, I used to be like, yeah, I can take everything. And as I'm taking everything, I realize this is not for me. This is not for me. She getting on, and she wants to shout at me. Can't
Yeah,
do
because
that.
what's
then.
happened to you when you just find yourself in a position where it's like you doing the gigs because you want the money, and then it started like draining your passion because you're just
Right.
doing gigs that you don't want to do. It's like before you even get there, you already want to go back home. But it's a case where you're in that
Correct.
position where it's like, I ain't really got no choice. I want the money. And something that somebody told me like a couple months ago is like, never let people look at you like as like a starving musician or a starving artist.
That's another
Like,
thing too.
I would say like they got different
Want to get paid
interpretations.
as soon as they done play, but one of them can maybe get on like a hooligan in public.
Because I guess like that whole starving artist thing got different like perceptions on it. But the perspective the person was giving me was that essentially when people see, let me say, you as like that sort of starving artist or musician, they can just pelt scraps at you because they know that you can tap them.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to
Because
say
you ain't
that's
got no
called
choice.
I don't know what it's called it, but if I call a price, them don't like my price, but they see somebody else that I won't say a little bit inexperienced, but I would say them probably no starting and them really want to get out there. Them know that person ain't seen the money yet, and they can say, you know what, we can forego ship on ship price, and we can split that in a fifth and give the fifth to the man. Cause say that can come, no.
Yeah, and essentially that's like exploitation.
That's what it's got to say no.
So, and that person actually told me like what them do when they went through that phase is like them actually just suffer. Because sometimes I think the problem too is that like if enough people just stop like accepting it, like people will like correct it altogether. Because realistically, there's nobody on earth that don't like use music in some form or some
I
fashion.
know, but the problem is always is the circumstance that these people come from. It like
Yeah,
some people are starving. Some people are starving, so they are gonna take it because they know well that means that they can eat tomorrow. So that's the unfortunate thing about it. But man, you gotta hold a bread and biscuit.
Because it's just
biscuit
when
and
people
butter.
see that and then they can just keep you there so like on that little string because it's like, alright, I know that you
And
can't
then
get away.
when you realize what's going on, no, you price the man want to catch attitude with you like all of a sudden you too good for me. Yes, I am too good for you. Goodbye.
I would say
Yeah.
sometimes it's like you may have to just suffer a little bit to try and get yourself like in a better position. And I say like that's
Sure.
a harsh reality. It don't be all the glamour sometimes as you.
Some
as
people
like,
first
like,
job to be worst job in their life. They can hold a McDonald's or a Chafet job. Not saying Chafet job's bad, but they can hold a gas station job for a year or two and move up to supervisor and just so that they could. But you can't
Like,
stay
essentially,
starving
like,
artist
sometimes you just
forever.
have to do what you gotta do to get by. But I would say like don't let me say don't just put a cap or think that is like all you amount to or the level that you want to stay to.
Nah.
You constantly want like evolve and
And just talk to
elevate
other people.
each
If you
thing.
talk to more people in the same situation, you can realize how much more money out there that you can make if you just leave the people that feeding you little crumbs off your table.
And on that concept, expensive, like the thing with that is like being expensive is very subjective, you know, because
Girl, let me tell you. The people, let me tell y'all something right now. The people that got the money do not complain. They may say in a word, you sending the quotation, you sending the invoice, they may pay the money, no complaints. The ones that they'll be trying to pick everything and trying to beat you down and trying to negotiate. We're negotiating on prices. Sorry, we don't talk over here. And trying to negotiate on prices. I can't negotiate. There's a lot of things that you can, but sometimes it's like no, because
most of the negotiation not gonna be in the favor.
Yeah, it's never in the favor. Nope.
So I would say sometimes you sound like essentially just stand your ground, because as I said, a lot of people doesn't know, let me say, who to try certain things with. So like when you don't not really like establish as a musician or artist, you'll find yourself in a lot of them situations.
Yeah.
But people not gonna try to get your own season and established artists.
No, but some people have managers as well. The manager is the person that really and truly advocating on your behalf. So if the manager can take the scrap, so you have to have a talk with them or find a new manager, because they ain't on the same page as you as a musician that trying to make money. Them taking every little thing, all the little pieces of change, just so they can get your face out there. Hello, social media is real. To get your face on social media for free. Come on, guys. Y'all have this.
As I said, that's just a little insight as to why I guess some musicians is be so expensive. Because I say like it's a lot that's going to time, essentially perfecting your craft. I wouldn't even say perfecting, because I don't really think you can ever get to a stage where there's nothing left for you to learn.
Too much in the world to learn.
Yeah, like you can always continue to get better, but it takes a lot of time that you start investing in your craft, and then also a lot of money that you just have to put in. So that is just a little brief insight to why musicians just charge the prices that they charge, and not even musicians alone, like just creative artists in general. Because I believe like all
artists,
creatives,
the painters, the people that just sing, the people that just write the music, the producers, music producers, show producers, who else? Arrangers, composers. These things don't just happen overnight. These people was working for years.
Correct.
DJs,
yeah.
photographers, florists, nail artists.
If we call all of them, we're gonna be here until next week.
For real, I'm trying to let nobody that, but just keep going on.
So next thing, any of you have any encounters you want to book musicians, creatives in general, just bear some of these things in mind. And try not to beat down on prices too much. Like anything, and you want to be a little generous, you can actually slide a little.
You talking to your own people, musicians and artists alike. Y'all need to stand up for yourself. If y'all know y'all worth $250 and the man trying to pay you $75, but for that $250, I'll walk away. I know who you're talking to. Them people ain't listening to this here. We're going to know for ourselves as the people providing the services that this is what we deserve. And want to ain't budging on it. Because they got to be okay with saying no to the money.
And back to the people that want to book the musicians as well.
Book me too, you know. I ain't saying all this to people. Book me too.
You could book all of us. So like I said, the people that booking the musicians too, don't really try to beat down them prices and give them a hard time, because there's a lot that started going to this craft. Because like when you encounter, let me see you going to your lawyers, your doctors, you don't go to them offices and try beating down them prices.
When the doctor said the visit is $100, I don't hear one negotiating at the counter the $100.
Sometimes all them do is like charge you $100 for signing that paper. But the thing is, they're not charging you that $100 for that signature. It's like, you know just how hard medical school is and how much years you have to get through? Is like not anybody could just come and sign that paper for you. So
they still got the same expenses, you know. They still got a building. Sometimes they rent the building. They got staff to pay, equipment to buy, medication to also purchase. Those things are not cheap.
Correct.
Come on.
So the same way, although we may not be operating in the same capacity, musicians essentially there's our craft, our livelihood. So that's the reason why these charge what we do, and charge as steep as it may seem sometimes. So as I say, musicians, stand up for yourself and don't stop taking the scraps. And also the people that booking musicians, they respect them craft. So that's all for today.
I think that's expensive, yeah. That little bottle of water when it's one give you ain't got in it. Don't cut.
That's all for today. So until next time, the next episode, I ain't decided what the next one gonna be yet, but just stay tuned. So until next time, whenever that may be, we signing out.
Bloopers.
So I'm pretty sure every... Oh yeah.
Sorry. I can shut up.